Hey guys, it's Mr. Russ. We are going to learn about how to make a geologic history for a rock diagram, such as the one that I have right here. This is going to take some of the skills that you guys have already found that you guys have mastered, like doing relative dating, putting the rock layers in order, and then also matching rocks to their depositional environment. And just let you know, like the reason why we want to be able to make these histories is because it's really looking at cause and effect. The cause is the environment, and the effect is the rocks. Now, we've been focusing mostly on the rocks and the features. And what we haven't talked about too much is the cause of all of those rocks and features. Rocks don't just form randomly, they form from being, or from some environment that has created the conditions to make that rock. So the reason we get shale in some places and rocks like sandstone in another is because they were different environments in the past. So the cause over here is the environment. So when you look at these rock diagrams, we know all of the different rocks and the unconformities and all that kind of stuff because we can see them. So the first thing to do, it's kind of a reverse. We actually start out with what are the different known things, the effects, okay? So one of the effects, and we're going to start out with the oldest because we want to tell a story at the end of this. The oldest thing on here is this limestone layer. So we would say limestone. And then the next oldest is the shale. So again, we're going from oldest, and then we're going to end with the youngest this time. The third thing is this sandstone layer right here. The fourth thing is actually this squiggly line, or sorry, the fourth thing is not the squiggly line. I messed that up. You guys can see that these layers are all folded. Well, due to the law of original horizontality, that folding had to happen after these layers, but these ones aren't folded, so it happened before these ones. So we actually have folding. Then the fifth item is this unconformity. The sixth thing that we have is this shale layer that's above the unconformity. And then the very top layer, which is the youngest, is the limestone. Okay, so we've started out with all that stuff. Again, we just looked at the diagram, and these are the effects of past environments, okay? But now what we need to do is we need to start filling in the actual environment that we had, okay? I know I'm off screen a little bit, so. Limestone, which is this one down here, is formed in a couple of different environments, but the main ones are a really deep ocean, or if you have like a shallow reef area. We're going to say that it's a deep ocean, and the reason I'm going to say that is just because this looks like a really big area, and deep ocean's a big area, whereas a coral reef might just be like a smaller area. So we're going to start our story by saying the area was a deep ocean, and it deposited the limestone. Okay, I drew a little arrow over that away in case you guys aren't able to see. The next thing that happened was this shale. Shale forms in like a medium level environment, or sorry, medium level water. So we had deep water in the limestone. This is medium level. That means that our water level has gone down, okay? So water level drops, deposits silt, and it forms the shale, okay? So I have a little arrow pointing to, that's the shale forming. The third thing, the sandstone. Sandstone is formed in a couple of environments. Could be a desert, could be a coastline. We're going to say it's a coastline because most of our story so far has been talking about the ocean. So if we're medium level with the shale, and then sandstone is more of a coastline, so lower water, we're going to say the water had to keep going down. Water level drops, deposits sand, and it forms that? Sandstone. Okay. The next thing that happened is the fold, and folding happens because of convergent boundaries. So this one's actually pretty simple. Over here, number 4, convergent or convergence. I'm just going to shorten it up. Convergence caused, boom, folding, okay, of all those previous rock layers. So only these ones, because these are the only ones that had been created so far. The next part of our story, we have that unconformity. And what we've talked about in class is that unconformities can be caused by erosion, and it's always caused by erosion. But the two main culprits for us are going to be a glacier went through and just scraped everything out of the way, or it could be sea level has gone down all the way, exposing all of this rock up here, and that rock can get eroded away. So since we've had sea level change in this portion of the story, the next part, we're going to continue that. So sea level drops completely, eroding rock. I'm running out of space over here. Trying to make sure you guys can see. Okay. So then the next part of our story, we had the shale. And shale, we said earlier, was formed in, it could be deep lakes, it could be a delta with a bunch of mud in it, or for us, it's probably like a sea level change again. So sea level is going to go up, and that's going to deposit shale. Okay. So sea level rises, deposits silt, forming that shale. Okay. And then the final part of our story we said is going to be limestone. Limestone we said is either going to be deep water or it's going to be coral reef. You could put either one because you make cases for either one. If you said that limestone was formed in deep water in this particular case, then you would say, well, shallow water, or sorry, medium level water, deep water, water level continues to rise. Okay. If you said that this limestone was formed on a reef, reefs are relatively shallow, so water level would have dropped from here to here. I'm going to say that it's deep water limestone, so water level is rising. Oops. Water level rises. Mess that up. Depositing limestone. Okay. Now, why does this become important? I'll give you guys a clue on why it might be important. If I had a totally different set of rock layers, okay, and let's say this one is limestone, this one's shale, and this one's sandstone. If we're trying to tell the story of these areas, looking at the pattern of what has happened in the environment, we might actually be able to figure out what are some other resources that humans might want in that area. So limestone is deep water. Shale is kind of a medium level. And then sandstone is shallow. Okay. Over time, water level has risen, but at some time in the past, way down here, there may not have actually been water, okay? Some environments that we know that are close to the water, but they're not going to actually be in the water, might be like a swamp. And for us, swamps are important because they deposit coal and oil and natural gas and stuff like that. So if I was a geologist, I might decide, like, we've drilled here, we know all the stuff that's in here, maybe there's something more valuable just based on the pattern of what the environment's been like in the past. And that's really what scientists use this stuff for a lot. They try to figure out what the past environments have been like so that we can generate a picture of the past, okay? So it might be worthwhile to go down here and see if there's any coal, okay? This skill is a higher level skill for sure. It definitely takes into effect your ability to do relative dating. So can you tell which of these rock layers are older and younger, the order of events? You also need to be able to match up the different rocks. You need to know the symbols of the rocks. So like this is shale, limestone, sandstone, and we're simplifying stuff. And then the last thing is you have to actually see the pattern and create the history, and that's a cause and effect. The environment is the cause, the effect is the rocks that we get. So if we know all these different types of rocks, we can actually put together the cause, their story, okay? The final skill would be trying to look at all of these and determine, is there a valuable resource somewhere underneath all that stuff or somewhere else in the rock column, okay? So we will get some practice problems with these, and again, you'll probably have a CER activity where you'll have to put the rock layer story together, the geologic history, and then determine if there's something valuable. So until then, you guys keep practicing. We'll see you later.